I spent years talking to myself like a disappointed mother, and I called it discipline. A lot of this has obviously stemmed from the relationship that I have with my own mom and other relationships that I had throughout my childhood that greatly influenced this part of my character and this part of how I perceive myself and my value. But it's been very tough to disconnect my value from my ability to produce, right? Like people can only see value in me, or I am only valuable to a certain table or a certain environment if I am able to produce a certain result or get a certain result or show that I can do this or so on and so forth. And these high standards and this ambition that we sell to ourselves, it's not love, right? These are not like high standards. It's our inability to meet ourselves in a place of love for the things that we've done or the things that we've had to go through, because we think that our value, and in order for people to appreciate us and love us, has been based on what we can do and what we can bring and what we can provide, and not just because of the gift of who we are. And it's such a burnout way to live, especially when you're not just living like that in the environments that you're in, or I guess I should say witnessing that in the environments that you're in, but also experiencing that inside of your head all of the time. Because then when it's not somebody else giving you direction and instruction or trying to raise your standards or telling you to change your goals, it's you doing it inside of your head all of the time, and you just can never catch a break. So then when you do these rest days, or you go to the spa, or you take time off, you don't actually allow your mind, soul, and spirit to relax, because they're not relaxed. You're just in your head running loops like, okay, I'm getting a massage, but I could be doing this, and I'm not really, like, who am I not bringing value to? Instead of like, oh my gosh, wow, I really deserve to get this massage and to relax. I've done this and this and this. And I wouldn't even like approach yourself with the conversation of, okay, let me list out all the things that I'm done and then be grateful to myself that I showed up and did it, because the point is not to show love for the list of things that we accomplished. And I thought that was a point for a really long time. So I would like list out all these things, and then I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, I love you. Thank you so much for showing up. Which obviously the way that we speak to ourselves is equally as important. Like that is literally the whole point. All of these voices in our head and the way that we speak to ourselves in such a demeaning manner all of the time. So obviously the way that we speak to ourselves is extremely important. But meeting yourself in a place where you can actually show internal compassion. And I've gotten to a point now, and it's quite beautiful to experience, where you can do it in the moment and you actually start to enjoy these things that you're doing, instead of doing it because if you don't do it, then your perceived value is going to be much less. And like, it's such an unsafe feeling to produce less, especially as a high performer, or like allow somebody else to pick up the slack, because in you doing more and in you feeling like you have to provide all the freaking time, you're actually taking the opportunity away from other people to experience certain things. Like if you know that a task needs to be done, it's probably because, well, you've done it before and you've experienced it before. And unless you like think that there's a lesson or something that you need to learn in doing it again, allow somebody else the opportunity of doing it for you, doing it on your behalf, and learn the lesson of being able to sit in that and being grateful for somebody else being able to show up and provide. And I see with this specific topic, my relationships with men, especially as a hyper independent woman, being able to allow a man, like obviously there is submission that needs to be had on both sides, but allowing myself to allow a man to come in and do things for me, and me be grateful that, you know, he's come in and do it and done it for me, instead of me being like, oh, I can do it and like I don't need your help and like F off. And it's interesting because it is actually like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it is such an unsafe feeling to go from like, I can do it myself first and better in the way that I want it done and in the time that I want it done, instead of let me actually just allow somebody else to pick this up on my behalf. Like, that's how I see it now versus somebody coming in and doing it for me and like trying to take over and taking all my power away. I'm just like, wow, this person has seen that maybe I need help or that I would appreciate, or it's almost like you can be grateful for their ability to like be aware of the situation, right? Like maybe spatial awareness or emotional, the ability to hold a greater emotional capacity. Because a lot of people that come into my airspace, especially men, like you can tell that I'm a very hyper independent woman. So if you're going to come in, you need to make sure that you can stand your ground. This is not the topic that we're talking about. But to circle back, it is so important that this goes for every relationship, all of the relationships that you had in your childhood, and dissecting, like, these are the things that hurt me, and why do I speak to myself this way? Why do I show up for myself this way? And there have been times that I have seen in my own relationship with my actual mother where I have had to meet that conversation with love and compassion because I learned how to speak to myself. And it's tough because when you really deep it, I can't turn around and be like, oh, I'm so angry that you made me this way through the conversations that we had, or you didn't digest the emotions that you needed to as an adult. So when you brought me into this world, or when I was brought into this world and we got to experience each other, it didn't go how I wanted it to. But like, we spend so much of life trying to get it perfect, but like the whole point of life is to do it imperfect so that we can find beauty in appreciating the things that go well, and the perfection in certain things. So when my mom approaches me with certain things now, that I'm just like, I see where you're coming from, but I don't want to adopt that same reaction. I unsubscribe, but instead of judging her for it and pointing the finger and da 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 and kind of approaching the conversation with an equal negative reaction, I try my best to meet the conversation from a place of that mother who has compassion. Because when you think about it, the way that my mom reacted to me and the way that she probably thought she was showing love to my soul was her showing to me in ways that she probably didn't receive it from her mom. So to sit there and be able to self-reflect and be like, not be like, you made me this way, but I am this way, and so like, let me digest why I am this way and why I feel this way. And to be able to turn around and mirror that and be like, oh, I understand. Obviously you can never understand, but you can see a different perspective instead of personalizing it. So it has been a very fun ride to kind of dissect that and realize that everything is neutral. Everything is neutral until you decide to label it as positive or negative. And so all of these negative things that happen in our lives, like the way that we're subconsciously programmed, try not to view it as negative or positive. Just observe in a neutral state, which is so hard to do. And honestly, I don't know if we will ever be able to completely remove a bias and view something completely neutral, but just view it from a neutral state and know that you don't need to have control over everything, but what you do have control over is your reaction. So you can point the finger as to why you're this way and that way, and it's your fault, and you brought me up like this, and I hate myself, and it's because you hate yourself, and now I'm even more mad at you because how the heck do I know this at the age that I am, and you still haven't figured it out at the age that you are. Like, there's just so much built up, and then you just end up passing it back to people. And so the things you focus on, recycle. I will be focusing on the way that I speak to myself with compassion, and then I will be turning around and reprogramming, the people that programmed me out of compassion. But it's tough because everybody has their own journey, so it's also not my job to turn around and make everybody feel the way that I feel, because I feel so much better now. If that's their journey and that's their story, all the power to them. So I will love them from where they are and allow them to grow in their own space, because it's not my job to come in and fix and fix and fix and fix, because my value is not in the projects that I can complete and the people that I can fix and the energy that I exude. Absolutely not. Hope you got some value from this. Even though this was showing up and exuding energy to give value, I do enjoy it every morning. I have been enjoying it. Today my throat's hurting a little bit, so maybe today I talked about something that released a bit of my throat chakra, but All love, and I will see you tomorrow.